So, in response to people wanting enormous ships in Interstellar Rift, I haven't actually checked the length on this ship, but it's probably in the 400 to 500 meter long range. So it's also not the best design. I've done some amount to try and make it efficient, but yeah, there are issues with it. So right now I'm in this upper section. And so as you can see, there's, storage all throughout it, as well as some engines up on the wings, there's engines out the back, as well as there's a bunch of other mechanical stuff throughout the ship. So I'll just give a tour and kind of show why I've come to somewhat hate this ship, and also why I think that giant ships in Star Citizen would be a kind of bad idea. I mean, they may have their use, but overall, it would be tiresome to use them unless you're able to have a single person in a single spot for extremely long periods of time. So it's like, one person is just sitting in the engine and they have something to do all the time in the engine or right next to the engine area. Because having to make the trips like this on a frequent basis, so, hey, engineering sitting up in the bridge where I was and says, okay, please go check out the engines. Well, be down there in a few minutes. So, yeah. I'm just on my way up to the front engines. Technically not the fastest route. I have another route, which involves jumping down basically the length of the ship, but I'm ignoring that route because Star Citizen does not allow that. I mean, this game also has teleporters. This ship has plenty of teleporters. Again, Star Citizen does not have that, so I'm not taking advantage of those. So, right. I designed this ship. I still forget where I am sometimes. And this room was also kind of a late addition, so there's some issues with it. So yeah, I'm now at those front engines. Okay, well, no issues here. Let's go check the rear engines. I'll be there in a minute. Yeah, like I said, teleporters are all over the place, but I'm not going to use them. So, I can certainly understand people wanting to have giant ships. They're fun. It's cool to sit outside and be like, look at this enormous thing. Look at the fighters that look like insignificant flies next to my behemoth of a ship. It's so much fun. But it's great until you actually have to traverse those ships. Once you actually have to run around inside them, once you have to go and do things, it becomes tiresome. So yeah, I mean, I was just running through those hallways where my cargo is. So if something goes wrong with my cargo system, I then have to go running down those hallways and do some work, and it takes a long time. Okay, I'm now at the rear engines. It takes minutes to get around this ship, and it gets tedious real quick. I built the ship. I built it in a survival game. I farmed out all the materials for it. I, flew it for a few days, a week or so, and then I hated it. I ended up building a couple of other ships that are much, much smaller to basically supplant this ship because it's just so painful to try and use. It's enormous, it's slow, it's expensive to fly around, it's expensive to maintain, it's a huge power drain. I haven't actually put any fuel into it, so it's basically being powered off solar right now, so yeah. And that was just a comment for anybody who does play Interstellar Rift. So, yeah, like I said, I can understand people wanting huge ships. They are fun. At the same time, they are a pain. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just going to run back up to the cockpit. And I timed this before. In order to run down to the front and then back up to the top, it ends up being around 2.5 minutes to make that trip. So if you have to make trips like that on a frequent basis, it would drain a lot of the fun out of the game. It would become tedious. It would become a chore to do these things. I know some people might enjoy it. I know a lot of people might say, oh, well, I want that. I thought I would want a ship like this. I thought I wanted something huge and fun. I could do everything in this ship. I can run strip miners, I can run drones, I can store the world, I can do everything with it. I hate it. It's a pain. I mean, one aspect of that is also how long it takes to load in. This is also the short trip that I was talking about, so it just jumps down the length of the ship. Yeah, it sounds fun until you have to use it in practice. Then it's just, yeah, it's a chore. So, yeah, I thought I would give my opinion, and I would give kind of an actual experience with a giant ship like this, where you're running around the interior, and it's a fully furnished interior that you can interact with. You can, I mean, I can run around, I can, you know, fiddle with things, I can change my shield outputs, I can go and fiddle with my storage management, I can do all kinds of stuff with this, but yeah, it just ends up being tiresome to have a giant ship that can do everything, but you don't want to do everything on it. It's annoying after a while. Anyways, that was just my opinion. This video probably isn't going to be edited because I haven't really made any videos before, so yeah, sorry if it was long.